Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's Saturday morning again and I've been to Slimming World and weighed in. And you won't be surprised to hear it's raining in Nottingham. Enough said. So this morning was a taster, a food taster for Free Food February. Very, very nice. We had some really tasty stuff and I did actually try a couple of things today. And one particular thing that I liked was a sweet corn and bacon fritter. And the young lady had just made these little tiny fritters about the size of Scotch pancakes, and they had sweet corn and egg, spring onion and bacon in, and they were delicious and of course free on the plan. We had a good number of people in group this morning. I think we've sold over 40 12-week countdowns this morning, so you know what the queue's like when everybody has to remember where their holidays are. But still, our group went like clockwork and no complaints from me. So what result did I get? I was determined this week to go back to plan. I was determined not to mess around with cortado coffees. Did I succeed? No. I think because I feel almost like I'm getting away with it, I'm not taking it seriously enough, and that isn't good enough for me because that will roll over. And before I know it, I'll be rolling downhill with it. So this week I am making a change, but it's a good change, and I'll tell you about that in a second. I actually stuck to plan all week. I had my healthy extras, I had 15 sins every day. Where I went astray again was with a couple of cortado coffees. Now you might say they don't matter, it's not a big deal, it's only a cup of coffee, but it's 11 sins. Then on Friday, yesterday, I went to a private hospital with a friend who was having some treatment, and we decided to have a coffee from the coffee machine in the waiting room, and oh my god, it was good. I love hospital coffee, good hospital coffee. So I had two, and if I'm honest, I would have said they were probably about 8 sins each. So that's another 16 sins, so we're up to 27.5 sins over. You know, that's nearly 2 days extra sins on very small things. And what I've said along my journey is I am conscious that I should not be drinking my sins. Well, am I strictly drinking my sins if I'm not counting them, or am I just fooling myself? The result I got this morning was a maintain, and I'm really happy with that. But if I continue to do this every week with the coffees, I am not going to continue to get maintains. It's going to be a ½ pound on, and then a pound on, and then a ½ pound off, and then a ½ pound on, and then a pound on. And before I know it, I'll be back into the 9 stones and then the 10 stones. And I know, you know, to those people who are going to still be on their weight loss journey, and me at 8 stone something saying, oh, you know, I shouldn't be drinking this coffee and everything, might be like flicking their eyes to the ceiling and thinking, what the hell are you talking about, Jane? It's a cup of coffee. It's a cup of coffee, but it's the start of a slippery slope for me. And believe me, I am such a coffee lover that 1 cup is never enough. So before I know it, it'll be 2 cortados, then it'll be 4 cortados, then it'll be a flat white. And then I'll be back to the old me who used to go to the hotel down the road and order a pot of coffee and a jug of cream. And I can't go there, so I need to pull myself up. Well, a good thing that's happened this week around milk, I watch a lovely young lady on here called Rebecca Shaw, and Rebecca's a vegetarian, and I get some very good ideas from her. One of the things is Rebecca drinks, I can't say almond, we say almond where I live. Rebecca drinks almond milk. Now I've tried almond milk, I've tried all the well-known brands, the Alpro, is it, the Blue Diamond, the Rude Health, and I don't like any of them in coffee. But I did note Rebecca say within the last 2 weeks that she drinks Sainsbury's own almond milk, almond drink. So we went looking for it, didn't we, Joe?
Yeah.
And we found it in the UHT section. Now I like UHT milk because it always has a creamy aftertaste. So UHT milk of any kind I like. So I bought a litre for £1 and I brought it home, and by the end of the day I had used the whole litre in coffees and really enjoyed it. Because while it tastes like almond milk, which is fine because I like almonds, it has a creamier aftertaste, which is what I'm always looking for in milk. So for 750 millilitres of Sainsbury's own UHT almond drink, it's 1 healthy extra A. So what I do, I take a litre and I use, for my 2 healthy extra A's, a litre of the Sainsbury's almond drink and 30 grams of feta cheese, because you can have 45 grams for a full healthy extra. So in effect I'm having 1 1/3 healthy extras of milk and 2/3 of a healthy extra of feta cheese. And that's the way forward for me. I've used up my skimmed goat's milk. Well, I've got a little bit to use up today, but then I'm going over to the almond milk, and I'm going to try a whole week on almond milk and see if that helps me. Because when I get used to the taste of having almond milk in my coffee at home, I'm not going to want cow's milk in it when I go to Costa. And as Joe pointed out, Mum, why can't you just order black coffee in Costa and take your own almond milk? You could say Costa do soya milk, Jane, you could have that. I don't like it, I've tried it. So if I'm going to drink coffee, I want to enjoy it. If I'm going to eat any food, I want to enjoy it. I don't make do today with food and drinks. It's got to be the best I can find for what I'm allowed within plan. So that's my plan going forward. So we're off to Sainsbury's in a little while, and we're going to stock me up on the right milk. So yeah, this week, food-wise, has been fine, except for to say, on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, and a little bit of Sunday, I think I started on Sunday night, I wouldn't say I felt ill, but I felt out of sorts. And I was saying to Joe on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, I have got no appetite. And I also said this to my friend who takes my food diary by email every day. I have eaten 3 meals every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but I didn't. It wasn't that I didn't enjoy the content of them, because I only eat food I love. I didn't want it. I wasn't hungry. I had no appetite, but I made myself stick to 3 meals, because if I hadn't, then I'm getting into dangerous territory, because when my appetite came back, I would overeat, and I can't afford to do that. So on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, stuck to 3 meals a day and sat there literally picking at them, because my head was like, why are you doing this? You've got no appetite. You're not hungry, you're tired. And I honestly fell asleep one afternoon. I was listening to a funny book by Marion Keyes, and I actually fell asleep. That's not me. So Thursday, I felt 100% better. And in fact, on Thursday, we did a bit of a practice walk for a sponsored walk we're doing in the summer to support Tess, Tess SW, and take a look at her channel if you haven't come across her so far. She's so lovely, and she's real. She's down to earth. She's a mum, she's a wife, she works, she lives this plan, and she's so nice with it. I mean, she just is straightforward. Tess, what you see with Tess is what you get. She's straightforward, and she's like, watching one of her videos is like having breakfast with a friend or having lunch with a friend. It's the smashing. But anyway, we went out for a practice walk, for a walk we're doing to support Tess and a charitable cause she's working with in August. And we actually walked 16.36, well, I did 16.36 miles on Thursday. Joe did well over 20 miles. I think you did 51,000 steps, didn't you?
I think I looked this morning, because I said I was going to look for you, and it came to like 24 miles on my Fitbit.
Yeah, so he did 24 miles on Thursday. I did 16.36. He's got longer legs and he's young. He can do these things. I'm practicing. But that was Thursday. I felt 100% better on Thursday. I could have climbed a mountain. Yesterday I felt great. You know, we did another good walk yesterday. So I know that I'm back to where I should be health-wise, and I know I'm back to where I should be food-wise. But I didn't miss a meal, even though I didn't feel like eating, because I know it's vitally important for me to eat 3 meals a day. And then not to beat myself up for overeating, and not to beat myself up for undereating, which is something I could very easily do these days. And that shocks me when I think what a compulsive overeater I used to be. I could actually become quite an undereater, because I don't ever feel hungry. So not feeling hungry and enjoying 3 meals a day is one thing, but having no appetite and starting to skip meals, for me, is really foolish. So it's been a great week. I've had 4.5 healthy extras every day, except for the day when I actually tried the almond milk, and that day I had 4 healthy extras. I've had 15 sins every day, which takes me to the 105 for the week, but then on top of that, I had 11 for the cortados and probably 16 for the coffees yesterday. So nearly 2 extra days sin. So I actually think today, by the grace of God, I got to maintain. It probably is not the result I deserved. And I can't kid myself that liquid calories count less than solid food calories, because they don't. They count just as much. And you really can overconsume sins by drinking them. One of the things I have been really conscious of this week is still eating my coconut. I love fresh coconut and I have it every day. It is still changing the shape of my body. I just came back from group and I had on blue trousers and a white top, which is they're my weigh-in clothes. So I came in from group and it's a bit chilly. So I went straight to my dressing room thing and got changed. And I put on a pair of jeans that I haven't worn, I don't know, a few weeks, way before Christmas probably. These are, I'm trying to think whose they are, Wallace's from their petite range. I love Wallace's clothes because I think I'm Wallace's shape. I'm definitely not Marks and Spencer's shape. I haven't got enough of a curve in me anymore. But these jeans are a size 10 and I have not lost any weight since I bought these jeans. But I must be changing shape because I can get like 2 hands down the waist of my jeans. Not an attractive look, is it, that? But I just can't believe it. And I'm just like, let me show you this, because you're a freak. But look, I'm going, like my shape is changing. And I'm attributing all of that to eating coconut. Because my weight isn't reducing, but my shape. And you read an article once, didn't you, Joe, about the fact that coconut can reduce, like, your middle.
Yeah, waist circumference. Even though, like, weight loss is about energy balance, like, coconut does seem to have some effect on, like, waist
for
circumference.
Families like mine that have a history of really severe heart disease. And my brother, who's only 11 months older than me, has already had to have a pacemaker fitted. And he's never had my weight problems. Right? I don't want to go down that road. But one of the indicators is a big waist. If you carry your weight around your middle, that's often where you're going to struggle with, especially men, for heart health. But ladies too. And it's one of the things that they judge now, because my brother is under the same heart consultant my dad was under. But one of the things they judge him on now is not just his cholesterol, but it's the measurements around his middle. So I'm really encouraged by the fact that it can only be coconut. I'm sure it's coconut that's doing it for me. So while my weight isn't changing, the distribution of...
Since you dropped Weetabix in the morning and moved over to coconut, like, you shed a lot of weight, like, pretty... Yeah,
I did. I shed half a stone really quite quickly, didn't I?
Yeah.
But my weight is more or less stable in the sort of around the 8-9 to 8-11 bracket, and it has been now for about 5 months. But my shape is still changing, and it astounds me. And you know what it's like, especially coming in towards a new season. You're going to put clothes on that you haven't worn for a few months, and that applies to these jeans. I haven't worn these jeans for weeks, and I'm conscious, but before we go to Sainsbury's, I'm going to have to put a belt on them because I'm losing them. And yeah, I am putting that down to coconut. So again, if you like coconut and you're willing to give it a go and you're willing to spend some sins on it, you can have... Is it 20 grams of fresh coconut, 4 sins? Check it. Please check it. I know it's 35 grams for 6 sins. So, go for half of that for 3 sins or whatever. You don't need a lot of it. And we just buy the little packs for £1 that have 100 grams of coconut in. And if you put it in a plastic bag or an airtight container, it'll keep for 3 or 4 days. Joe doesn't actually like it, do you?
No, I really don't. I like other coconut products, but I don't like fresh coconut.
He likes the taste of coconut, but he doesn't like the texture. He says it's like eating wood, but it isn't. It isn't. Anyway, a couple of quick things I want to share with you. Firstly, this. Is that in shot, Joe? Mm-hmm. I call it my pedalo.
Maybe a little higher.
Yeah. I call it my pedalo.
Spin it around a bit so you can get
this
all angles.
The pedals, and you can actually use it as an arm exercise as well, I believe. but I use it as a pedalling exercise. This was £31. Joe found it on the internet. It has a tension knob, so you can make it harder and easier to pedal. Now, one of the things that Joe has in his studio, he has a full-size gym exercise bike, you know, the really big, all singing, all dancing jobby. But because he's almost a foot taller than me, he has it all set up for a 6-foot guy. You know, the seat goes back, the handlebars are a certain angle, a certain height. His seat height is here somewhere. I can't even cock my leg over it. Now, if I wanted to use his exercise bike, and every time I want to use it, I've got to say, oh, Joe, before you go to work, or oh, Joe, before you go out, can you remember to reset the bike to my needs? It would be what Joe calls a ball ache. So we don't do that. So instead, Joe bought me this. I think it was £31, wasn't it?
Yeah.
From the internet. And in the afternoon, if I just feel like sitting down and reading a couple of chapters of a Marion Keyes book or Jeffrey Deaver or somebody, for half an hour I don't do it every day because I'm not that disciplined, but for half an hour I might just pedal. And I set it quite stiff now, so it makes the inside of your thighs do the work. And I am benefiting from that. And I maybe use it 3 times a week. I wouldn't say I do it anymore because, as I say, I'm not a disciplined person and I have no willpower. I'm just a very ordinary person when it comes to things like this. I'm not a gym bunny. I'm not heavily into exercise except that I love walking. But that I can cope with 3 times a week. So I would recommend that to anybody, even if you're just starting on your weight loss journey and you can't. I mean, when I started on my weight loss journey, 1,000 steps nearly killed me. Now I can do 37,000. If you're just starting out and you don't even feel confident enough to go walking the streets, like at 22 stone, I didn't feel confident enough to do that. You may be 14, 16, 18 stone, if you know, and you're starting out and you don't want to go walking the streets, or you've got nobody to go walking with. Something like that for 30 quid. And you're actually moving your legs and improving your circulation and burning a few calories. It won't burn a massive amount of calories, but it'll burn a few, and it gets your metabolism going, gets your body working. So I would recommend that. And I'm only recommending it because Joe bought me one and I've used it for a few weeks to try it out. I was going to show it you when we first had it, but I didn't want to do that until I'd actually got used to using it, because I thought this could be a 5-minute wonder. I might buy this, then stick it at the end of the settee and never ever use it. So that's why I'm recommending it now rather than when we bought it. And finally, in today's magazine, or this week's New Slimming World magazine, there is a little questionnaire thing about being committed as a Slimming Worlder. And we haven't read through it, but I'm just going to ask Joe to do it with me because I would like to answer the questions and see how I score. So let's see if we can do it, Joe, shall we?
Okay. Question number 1 is, what one thing would make it easier for you to reach your target weight? So, believing deep down that you can be a slim person, not having cravings for certain foods, or nothing really, you know how to do it when you're in the zone?
Definitely the first one.
Okay.
Because that's worked for me this time. I never believed it before.
Question number 2. Which of these scenarios will be the biggest challenge to your motivation? Number 1, when you go off track and then can't seem to get back on plan. Number 2, a low mood day when you wonder if being slim is really worth it. Number 3, a busy or stressful phase and when you can't plan and cook ahead or fit in body magic.
2.
Right. Number 3. Sorry, I'm having to keep track of what you've answered for which.
Okay. We need to speed it up a bit.
I'm sorry.
Time.
I know, I'm sorry. Number 3, you'd get a confidence boost if people were to, number 1, recognise something fundamental about you that is different. Number 2, compliment you on being slimmer. Number 3, tell you that it is possible to achieve your dream weight.
2.
Number 4, deep down you're convinced that the secret to slimming is 1, being the kind of person who is good at weight loss. 2, avoiding temptation, cutting back and eating less. 3, all about making long-term changes and not quick fixes.
3.
5, you believe the best way to keep weight off long term is always being disciplined around food, staying focused on the ways it makes you feel better, making time to plan, cook and shop.
3.
Number 6, if you have a gain, it's usually because you've let your hair down a bit, then struggled to turn things back around. Number 2, you've been stuck in a rut eating the same old meals. Number 3, you find yourself turning to high-sin food for comfort.
Read those again, because I don't think any of those things apply to me.
You've let your hair down a bit, then struggled to turn things back around. You've been stuck in a rut eating the same old meals. Number 3, you found yourself turning to high-sin foods for comfort.
I'll go with number 1, but it's not 100% right for me.
7, you feel the most committed to a healthy lifestyle when someone asks you for your advice about weight loss or healthy eating. Number 2, you're seeing results fast. And number 3, you feel inspired by others' success. If they can do it, so can you.
At this stage in my journey, I'm going to go for number 1. I am inspired by other people's successes, but I'm also demotivated by other people's failures. So I can't allow myself to be too affected by what other people are doing. So I'll go for number 1, because I do get a lot of encouragement from people asking me.
We're at 22 minutes, by the way.
Okay, go.
When you think about yourself at dream weight, you feel like it's achievable or impossible depending on how you're feeling at that moment. You'll never want to get back to the old you just want to get there right now.
2, never want to go back to the old me.
Right. So,
do you have to add my scores
up? The way you answered, it's a match made in heaven. Food optimizing has really clicked for you and you've made lasting changes that will get you to target. Congratulations.
Oh, I've never got anything right in my whole life before. Let me just share before I go, there was a young lady came to group this morning and she actually got to target in June and never came back. Now, what usually happens in this situation is that people come back, I've done it, come back months later, big gain. This young lady came back, she was at target when she finished in June, she's gained 2 pounds since, so she's still in target. Yeah, the leader asked her, have you done that? And she said, food optimising. She just continued to do it. So that's, I think, the message for today. If it's working and you're food optimising and you're enjoying the food you're eating, just keep doing it. If you have a little blip of a weight gain or you have a maintain and you think you deserve a loss, just keep doing it because it'll show next week. Don't despair because of one bad result. I got a maintain today, which is what I was hoping for. I'm really happy with it. And yeah, it's probably better than I deserve because I haven't been doing my best. So I'm moving forward and I'm going to do my best this week. So, as Joe said last week, remember, and I say, it works if you work it, it won't if you don't. Have a great week and only eat the food you love. Don't drink your calories. See you next week. Bye.